Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you probably know I am more of a single-player PVE type of guy. And sure, some of these games have great atmosphere, big open worlds, some good dynamic encounters, and yeah, some tension there. But Ark not only has all of that, but it elevates all of that and more. It takes these separate ingredients and weaves them into something that feels fresh, unpredictable, and honestly, addicting. And then there's the PvP aspect of the game. When they announced that Ark wasn't just a PvE co-op extraction shooter that they originally intended it to be, a lot of gamers were thinking, okay, this could either be genius or a total disaster. And guess what? It turned out to be one of the best decisions the developers could have made at Embark. Today I'm going to break down why I believe that this game is so addicting, not only to myself, but to many of the gamers out there currently playing the game. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about why Ark Raiders is so freaking amazing. Now, one of the first things that grabbed me about Ark was the world itself. The moment you drop into this desolate, retro-futuristic wasteland, there's a special kind of vibe that hits you. The world feels like it's caught between two eras. Equal parts 1980s sci-fi and modern-day looter-shooter energy, let's say. Heavy emphasis on that 1980s sci-fi. There's plenty of times where I'm in the game and I get this like Blade Runner feel or vibe. Just from the music alone. The music in the game is incredible. That aside, there's this strange sense of wonder mixed with tension, if you will. You can be wandering across a field that looks serene from a distance, let's say, and there's soft fog rolling across old structures, wind blowing through tall grass, and then out of nowhere, you hear this mechanical groaning. It's one of many Ark machines that could be starting up or activating or coming your direction. Maybe it's a drone, maybe it's the heavy footsteps of a bastion. But whichever it is, it starts to build that tension. You see, the sound design here plays a huge role in the game. You can literally tell what type of machine is nearby just from audio cues alone. It could be the heavy stomping, like I said, of a bastion, or it could be a whirring sound of a drone up in the sky. It could be many things out there, but one thing is for sure. If you've got some good loot on you, you start to get nervous. The environments just aren't window dressing either. They matter. Elevation, cover, sound propagation, these elements change encounters. Now, you might decide to sneak past a large Ark patrol just to avoid wasting resources, or you might take that risk because you need the scrap to upgrade that gear. Sometimes the world punishes that decision. Other times, it rewards the boldness. But one thing is for certain, either way, this world always feels alive. So take that shot or not, it doesn't matter. This world is going to keep moving forward. The atmosphere here reinforces the theme of humanity being caught off guard. This post-apocalyptic world that we're in, forcing everybody to scrape by and use whatever gear they come across or supplies that it can salvage. This tension becomes the backbone of the entire gameplay loop. Every run feels like you're part of this larger struggle against the Ark, but also against other players trying to carve out their own path. In short, Ark Raiders nails world building. It's not just a backdrop. It's, well, a main character. And it's one of the big reasons I feel like many of us keep coming back. At its core, Ark Raiders is an extraction shooter, and this genre thrives or dies based on one thing. The loop is the process of dropping into the world, scavenging, surviving encounters, and extracting fun enough to keep you coming back. In the case of Ark, yes, it's a massive yes for me and many other gamers out there. And it's not just about mindlessly picking up loot, it actually feels purposeful, because it is. Nearly every piece of scrap you find has value, because crafting and upgrading gear genuinely changes how you approach the game. There's a clear progression, but not one that's so grind-heavy that it becomes annoying. Instead, it feels earned. You see, you go from barely scraping by with basic weapons to eventually being able to take on tougher machines and rival players with actual confidence. The encounters in Arc Raiders deserves high praise. And one of the reasons why is the AI in those Arc machines. They don't behave like your typical shooter enemy. They actually flank, they ambush, and sometimes they create environmental hazards that force you to reposition. Encounters are at times chaotic and cinematic without being scripted. And because this world is open and unpredictable, no two fights play out the same way, ever. And what really elevates the loop, for me anyway, is the decision-making pressure, that situational awareness that comes across in every match. Now picture this. When you're low on ammo, injured, and you're carrying valuable loot, and you know that extraction is still far away, that tension that you have to try to make it from point A to point B to that extraction zone is unlike anything else. It's that tension that you get there that is so addictive. You're constantly weighing risk versus reward. Should you push deeper for more loot? Should you detour around possible enemy players? Should you go loud? Should you stay quiet? Should you partner up with a random player or avoid them at all costs? And since we're talking about pushing forward or not, let's talk about the movement for a moment. The movement system in Arc feels weighty yet responsive. You're not a superhuman after all. You're just a survivor trying to make it through this post-apocalyptic world. Sprinting across open terrain makes you feel exposed. Sliding into cover feels tactical at times. Climbing a structure to get to a better vantage point can be rewarding. All of this creates a loop that is challenging but fair. Hard, but satisfying, and every extraction leaves me wanting more. And not because I necessarily need the better loot, but because the experience itself is so damn exciting. Now, you can't talk about Arc Raiders without talking about the Arc themselves. These machines are terrifying in the coolest way possible. They come in various shapes and sizes, and even personalities, if you could believe that. But telling you, some of these machines are little bastards. Very clever, but yeah, they can be a pain in the ass. Now, some are small and agile, darting around the battlefield like metallic insects, if you will. Others are towering behemoths that seem to shake the ground with every movement. That matriarch. Wow, that thing is a sight to behold. Can't wait to take it down one day with a bunch of other people, but that'll be a while. All these machines, they patrol areas in real time, they react to sound, they investigate gunfire, or maybe that noise that you're making by breaching a door. Sometimes they interrupt fights between players, forcing everyone to adapt or die. And it's these types of interactions and moments that happen in this game that just make it what it is. Just freaking awesome. The Ark also play a huge role in crafting the game's identity. They're not zombies. They're not humans. They're not generic sci-fi robots either. They feel like a distinct threat with their own rules and behaviors. Fighting them requires actual strategy, identifying weak points, luring them into traps, using environments to your advantage. And the best part, they don't hold back. If you're careless, walking around without paying attention to audio cues or firing wildly before checking your surroundings, the Ark will absolutely punish you. And honestly, I love that. It forces players to stay engaged and aware at all times. Gotta keep that head on a swivel. The machines make the world feel hostile and unpredictable, which only intensifies the impact of the PvP layer that sits on top of all of this chaos you already have. Now we get to the part that, for me, turns Ark Raiders from a good game into a Game of the Year contender, or should have been, game. Now, when Ark Raiders was first revealed, it was supposed to be a PvE-focused game. Now again, as I stated earlier, the PvE alone does create some tension, sure. But when you add the possibility of bumping into other players who might team up with you, avoid you, or straight up ambush you, that level of tension intensifies immensely. This uncertainty creates moments that no scripted game could ever replicate. I absolutely love the dynamic player behavior in Ark Raiders. You come across some people that are friendly. You come across some that pretend to be friendly. Others are lone wolves. Some squads play aggressively. Others avoid conflict altogether. It's this unpredictable social layer that gives this game so much life. In one match, you're fighting off a giant machine side by side with strangers. In the next, you're in a tense standoff over loot. Honestly, the game feels like one big, huge social experiment. A sandbox of human psychology, trust, fear, greed, desperation. It's all involved here, and I love it. There's so many people out there who are crying and whining about how there's a lot of griefers on these servers. I myself embrace it. I think if you're very situationally aware, if you know what you're doing in the game, you can make it through. Sure, sometimes you will get grief killed, but then you got to ask yourself, was it my problem? Did I do something wrong? Did I try to make a push too soon? Did I wait too late? Was I too trusting? These are all things that may be avoided in your game. I myself don't trust anybody. I don't care. Sure, I could have friendly encounters with people and walk by them, but my head is always on that swivel. I'll be walking backwards with my gun out as you are walking away, sir, because I don't trust you. It's just the way I like to play the game personally. Doesn't mean I'm mean. I just try to avoid people at all costs. Unless, of course, I'm playing in duos or trios. That's a different story. And because this PvP and PvE balance overlaps, players constantly adapt. You might be able to lure some opponents over into an Ark Patrol path, or use these machines sort of as allies. You might wait until a squad weakens a mech and then swoop in at the perfect moment, down the mech, and down that squad as well. Who knows? It's all up to you. You play your game how you want to play it. And that's the beauty of it. The balance here is key. And the balance here is wonderful, in my opinion. And when it comes to the extraction portion of the game, when you're actually leaving this world, you survived a world full of machines, players, resource scarcity, and unpredictable chaos. Well, it makes every successful extraction feel like a massive win. And going back to those people that are complaining about the PvP system and getting griefed. Look, I understand. Nobody likes getting griefed. However, I myself love that the potential to be griefed is in there because it's this human behavior element added into the mix that really creates the unpredictability and that extreme tension you'll get within this game. Without that element, I think this game would be robbed of its soul. So why do I like Ark Raiders so much? Why do so many of us love this game? I think it's because it does feel alive. It's unpredictable, it's tense, it's cinematic, it's strategic, it's chaotic, and it's beautiful. It blends PvE and PvP better than most games could even attempt to. And it has the potential, in every match, mind you, to create these unscripted stories that will stay with you long after you log off.
Play us out. GG's, bro.
Hell yeah. Now, if you liked the video, please hit that like button. I want to thank every one of you for staying this long for this video and listening to what I had to say here on Ark Raiders, because honestly, I'm loving the game and I'm probably going to jump back into it right now after this video. So, yeah, maybe I'll catch you there. Anyways, until next time, guys, game on.